Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Labeltv, your Pan-African International channel. Today is Sunday, as usual. We are on to 7th round, a program that take a look at issues that make the news during the week. And today we are discussing the vaccination program that has started in Africa. My name is Joe Willie, and to discuss this with me is Uche Chinwe of the English Desk. Uche, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, vaccination programs are now underway in Africa, bolstered by the International COVAX initiative to help poorer countries access supplies. We are going to discuss this and many more after this report. Africa's most COVID-hit country, South Africa, began its vaccination drive mostly targeting those in the healthcare sector. South Africa has the highest number of COVID-19 cases and deaths on the continent, with more than 1 million confirmed infection, 50,000 deaths, and more than 1 million recoveries recorded. South Africa is still recovering from the second wave of the virus, is now fighting a new variant. Meanwhile, Mali received its first batch of COVID-19 vaccines via the COVAX scheme put in place by the World Health Organization, WHO, for the benefit of poor nations. The first batch of 396,000 doses of the Anglo-Swedish AstraZeneca vaccine was received at the airport by Mali's transitional president, Badao, and Prime Minister Mokhtar Ould, in the presence of representatives from the WHO and the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF. According to Malian authorities, just over 8 million doses are expected by the end of March, and the country's vaccination campaign is set to start in April. Rwanda on Wednesday received its first shipment of COVID-19 vaccine through the World Health Organization's Global Vaccine Sharing Scheme, COVAX initiative. Rwanda targets to vaccinate 30% of its population by the end of 2021 and 60% by the end of 2022, according to Health Ministry. And Nigeria on Friday started its COVID-19 vaccination. Cyprian Gong, a senior registrar at the National Hospital, became the country's first person to receive the vaccine in the capital, Abuja. The World Health Organization African region says over 3.9 confirmed COVID-19 cases on the continent, with more than 3.5 million recoveries and 104,000 deaths cumulatively. Thank you. Thank you for being there. And we have had deliveries of vaccine supplies under the COVAX program, which started in February. Most countries in Africa have signed up for it. We have had South Africa, Zimbabwe, Mali, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Kenya, and Rwanda, and many more that have signed up for this. We have seen the delivery of the vaccine. What does this mean to Africa?
The truth of the matter is that many African countries have succumbed to the pressures of getting a vaccine across the continent. And 4 out of 5 people on the continent might take these vaccines if they are deemed safe and effective.
Okay, I think we have seen most of this vaccine. President of each country are the first to take it. We have seen it in Ghana, in South Africa. Do you think this is not a boost of confidence on it for the other citizens to join in taking the vaccine?
Indeed, it's a boost of confidence for other citizens to join the vaccine. And this is like building like a vaccine confidence for the people. Because you cannot see the president and all these prominent figures taking the vaccine without you as an individual like wanting to go for it.
Yes, it is government official, and when you look at the age limit, I think one will say, okay, it is correct for them to take it. They are 60 and above. After all, the corona is for the for the elderly. Yes.
Indeed, corona is for the elderly. Very few young people. We've heard not just everybody that is getting it. It's between this age group.
Yes, in fact, so far we have heard the youth, even some in Ghana that were saying they would not take it. Some in Nigeria and all that, they were saying they would not take it. For the government to take it, for the government officials, what does this mean to them? Don't you think they would change their thought over the vaccine?
Definitely, they need to change their thought over the vaccine. And it's also left for all these health workers and all these health agencies to keep campaigning so that people can change their perspective and their mind in accepting to take the vaccine.
Yes, accepting to take the vaccine. We have had it, first of all, in South Africa when they started it with AstraZeneca. That did not go there, and there were some maybe resistance or development, yes, reactions to it, which they say they will now change it to other vaccine, which they eventually they accept Johnson & Johnson. In the case of South Africa, how do we look at it? AstraZeneca was not working out for them. Is it not a doubt on AstraZeneca? Because we have seen it in other countries like Ghana accepting it, Nigeria also.
Definitely, if AstraZeneca is not working in South Africa, then it is even wiser that they speak out that it's not working than keeping it in their country. Maybe it can work in another people's climate conditions. If it is not working in South Africa, I think that's the wisest decision so far, by shipping it out of their country and accepting Johnson & Johnson. No matter there have been some delays from them receiving Johnson & Johnson.
Yes, we have several vaccines ranging from China, Sinopharm, Russia, Sputnik V, and all that. But in the case of Russia, Sputnik V, the European countries trying to study it. The World Health Organization is a little bit reneging. What is it about this Sputnik V from Russia that it is not widely acceptable like what you have like AstraZeneca, Moderna, maybe a Johnson & Johnson?
I would say if Russia's Sputnik V is not that acceptable as a COVID-19 vaccine, then it's left for the company to keep trying to improve their production.
Yes. They've been sending it to countries like in many countries in Africa. They have been yes, they have been receiving it, and also the China Sinopharm vaccine equally, because it is like maybe they don't come out very well to open up. This is how the content and then the production of it, because this is what the World Health Organization want to hear, the detail of the vaccine and how it is. Do you think maybe keeping it in secret would not a World Health Organization?
You cannot just say something is not good except you've used it and tested it. You cannot just condemn a vaccine without trying to run some tests on it.
Yes, the World Health Organization says 600 million doses will be for Africa, enough to vaccinate at least 20% of the population. 20% of the population is it's quite too low. It's quite too low. So don't you think this can be stepped up for at least maybe 40, 60, 50%?
With time, I believe with time it can go up to 40, 60, because all these richer countries, they buy to the extent of having some extras. I can, like last month, the South African government
was complaining,
to send down some vaccines to Africa. Even Emmanuel Macron also asked them to help Africans get some
why must Africa always cry out for help when they have enough? Because one would believe that we have enough resources to get the vaccine. Why must we look for the remaining vaccine from European countries for us to get it and treat ourselves?
Africa cannot just produce their own vaccine because we've not had this kind of disease in our continent before. You remember those days in 2003, I think precisely, COVID-19 started in all these developed countries.
We now remember it.
The vaccine just came to Africa. We don't know anything about it. Even some people still believe it doesn't exist.
Yes, I think 1 year on now since the coronavirus broke out. Don't you think that could have been enough for Africa, maybe some countries, to come together and say, okay, we are going to do research, build up, go into a vaccination to see what will come out of it.
When there is no facilities, health facilities, even the one you people are having is like.
Yes, I know, because I know even some oxygen are not existing.
How do you want us to cope or survive with developing a vaccine?
Of course, we have to. This is a country. We cannot neglect our health system. We have to. Health system, education. This was supposed to be a top priority for every country to invest in. Because where you are not investing on health or in education, then your people will perish, as we are seeing it now. Begging for vaccine all the time, going for loan all the time. Are we all the time been going out to look for what we're supposed to be having in our own backyard?
It bounce back at the government at least to take up some responsibilities. They shouldn't, in everything we want to do, you go very far away to bring it down to your country. Yes,
because in the excuse me, in the case of this vaccine, we have even some Nigerians are involved in the production of Pfizer vaccine. We remember it one years. It is not that there is a lack of manpower, but it is a lack of the political will on the part of the government to invest in health sector.
Yes.
We have been saying this over and over again, and the government is seem to be paying deaf ears on investment on infrastructure on the continent. Uche.
Yes, definitely. That is why I said the government, at least as it stands now, you see we've gone a very long way to beg people to give us vaccines. They should at least try to develop some health infrastructures, some health systems, so that we can be able to make our own things, produce our own vaccines.
Yes, even storage of the vaccine, because I remember in the case there was this uproar in Nigeria about the storage of Pfizer. You don't have. Why?
It's disappointing.
It's disappointing that you don't have a storage to buy those deep freezers and put them somewhere so that when the vaccine comes, you put them because as at Friday, the Center for Disease in Nigeria was saying if most of the states in the country do not have a storage system, they are not going to give them the vaccine that has arrived. So what is going to happen to the people there?
Maybe the people should now find a means of getting to the country to get vaccinated, then return to your country, because that's the only means, because they cannot just give you a vaccine that you cannot store. That will make the whole vaccine to be a waste.
A waste. So what will stop a place, a country not having a storage system?
That's what will I say? Is it a poor?
It's a negligence altogether. Because I cannot see the reason why a country should not provide. Because if they have invested on health and education, we've come to understand that when you need a vaccine, or if you have a vaccine, you have to store it in a certain degree centigrade. But
remember when this COVID-19 started, the WHO and other health agencies were like worried. How can Africans survive with this? These are the problems. Like this particular storage facility was like a problem.
Yes,
people don't have a very good health system. Now, how can you that is not having a very good health system, how can you now develop a good storage facility to store the vaccines when they come into your country?
It really is worrisome in the sense that Africa is still lagging behind in most of this area. Now we look at the country now accepting the vaccine. Several countries have accepted the vaccine, irrespective of belief or not. Why this sudden change of attitude? Because previously, there were a lot of rumors that was going on about vaccine.
Exactly, rumors going on about some vaccines. Maybe some people, just like you said, the president, the top officials have tested the vaccine. Who knows whether it's exactly the vaccine that they tested?
Some people are still complaining. Is it the ones that they have been injected? Why do we have this attitude of always doubting?
We have doubt because of the way all this, initially people believed that this COVID-19 whatever was a planned event from all these foreign actors. They want to use it and reduce the population
of yes, of course.
So that is even the more reason people doubt about this vaccine. What exactly is inside this vaccine? What exactly did these people send to us? Even in case of a face mask, when they sent some face masks to us, people still doubted, as in, we don't really understand what this is all about.
Of course, because I think that was because they gave a wrong impression about Africa. Our population is very young, because when you look at 600 million doses for Africa to vaccinate, maybe roughly 20% of the population, but African population, 60% are very young. 60% of African population are very young. I think that is why we have to be very grateful to God for not allowing the coronavirus to be a kind of youth sickness that could have come in to maybe take away part of our youthful population. So having said that, we should not be complacent in taking the vaccine. Because in the case of Madagascar has already been ruled out. They said they don't need it.
Definitely, they don't need it because the country came up with COVID organics.
Yes.
That's COVID and Artemisia. And I think the traditional plant is working miracles. It's working wonders in the country. So that is the more reason Madagascar don't need any vaccine.
But why was it a bit difficult for the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention to key in with the Madagascar and see what can come out of that country, of that organic, since it is our own and it was developed on the continent? Why was it difficult?
The major reason is that, there was a time when it was rumored that the COVID and Artemisia was not working in Madagascar.
Yes, I know, yes.
So I don't really understand what went wrong. But the president of the country still insisted that his people will keep using it.
Yes, and they keep using it up to this time because
using it and it's working for them.
Yes, it's working for them because the number of infection, the number of death, yes, has been drastically reduced. Another concern has been drastically reduced in that country. But the concern is also about this other country, Tanzania.
Tanzania is a God-owned people, if I may use that term. They believe in prayers, and it has been working for them as well.
Of course. Praying
to God to remove COVID, and God have never failed them. Apart from maybe last 2 weeks or that.
Yes, the priest, the Catholic Church come out to say they have killed 50 people and so many people have died. The nuns and priests have died in the country on the symptom related to coronavirus, and that also that more 10 prominent Tanzanians also died in the country or the related COVID-19 symptom. Don't you think that would have been enough for the president to say, okay, this thing is coming, we might have made an error in the past, let's all see how we can come together and then fight this sickness.
And the dying minutes he accepted when prominent members died and all those things. He now said, oh, there is COVID in our country. But still tell the people not to lose their hope in God. They should keep praying and also taking some precautionary measures. He did not accept the vaccine, no. He said, keep praying to your God and take the precautionary COVID-19 measures.
Of course. I think in one aspect, the president is not wrong. Because if you see most of these countries that has gone into lockdown, a lot of citizens, especially in Africa, have suffered so much to come out of it. Yes. Some has run out of food. Some have lost their job. Some cannot pick up. Yes, economy of a country has grumbled for the past 1 year, but Tanzania is still moving ahead. I think one can look at the positive side of it, but the negative side of it is that there should be yes, on the safer side, to make sure that this disease should not be killing people as it is in the country. Because one, he said he cannot lock down the country. Yes. People should continue to go to the farm and do exercise, as a matter of fact, to drive away the sickness. Do you think it is right not to lock down the country? When
there are cases like this, like you've seen the results so far, at least you would have accepted to taking 1 or 2 drastic measures by locking down the country. Everybody should go to their respective homes and confine for some time. so that some drastic measures can be taken in the country before you people will now come out again. That's the need. That's the most important need of a lockdown.
Okay, Uche, there is one thing that is lacking in Africa, the awareness on vaccine. I think we have not had enough on the creation of awareness by each country or the Africa to know who is taking the vaccine, who cannot take, because in most cases, the vaccine, I have followed these vaccine issues a lot, because in the United States, where it is, the level of corona infection has gone alarming in that country, there is no vaccination for children yet. There is no vaccination for pregnant women. But people are not forced to take it, but you go out there willingly to take it because you have seen the impact of the sickness. But here in Africa, we don't know whether children will be vaccinated, whether pregnant women will be vaccinated. Have you have any information on that?
As a human species, I've never seen where a vaccine is being celebrated like the way we celebrate COVID-19. Like the way we celebrate and promote COVID-19 vaccines. But I think the WHO the other day was saying that young children should be exempted from the COVID.
Of course, they should
virus.
Be exempted from.
Also, the pregnant women as well should not be giving COVID-19
vaccine.
Vaccine. Because they've not really tested to know whether.
Yes, they have not come and produced the vaccine for the children. We have not had that kind of awareness. But what we have is that distancing, social distancing, we put on your mask and that. But the main thing is that the vaccine has come up now. I think we should shift our information on how the vaccine should be administered, who's supposed to take it and who does not supposed to take it.
For now, I think they are more concerned on the elderly. The elderly, the frontline workers. These are the major concerns.
Yes. Okay, the major concern is the frontline workers. We still have some of the frontline workers taking it, but the sportsman, the other day I read in that this Jamaican sprinter, he said he wanted to escape his name. He said he would not take the vaccine. He would either miss the Olympic than taking the vaccine. And this still, yes, because they still give us the impression that there is something wrong with the vaccine that we do not know. Can we unravel the mystery surrounding this vaccine?
You cannot just unravel the mystery surrounding the vaccine without trying to get the vaccination.
Of course, trying to get the vaccination. We are still waiting for the arrival of vaccine in this part of the country. Gabon has not had it yet. I think Cameroon says it's going to receive it. Yes, in 2 weeks' time. So we are still seeing how it's worked out and who are those people that continue to be administered the vaccine. At the same time, don't you think African countries should also look at this Artemisia from the Madagascar, instead of maybe spending so huge amount of money, celebrating it, as you said, you see the head of state going to the airport to receive vaccine as if, I don't know.
You know, one thing with Artemisia COVID-19 organics from Madagascar is that as the WHO did not approve of it, that is the major concern of all these African countries, not going to them to collect. But those days I heard that they shipped some of it to some African countries.
Yes, they sent some to the African country. But my problem was that African country did not really come out and say, okay, this is our own. We have to look at it and see how this can treat this flu. Because coronavirus started as flu, if I am not trying to exaggerate, before it can graduate to whatever it comes out to. So I think Africa could have come together and say, okay, let us first of all use this, because most of this COVAX, it costs a lot of money for some African countries to acquire them.
Some invested billions.
Yes, it's billions of money. So where could they've cut the expenses in getting the Madagascar's own, which maybe other countries like, because there were also a report from Cameroon that you can go in, there's a man that is also treating this COVID-19. There's a place, it is hot, you go in there, and then you come out, the thing will get you. Yeah, yes, yes, I think these were areas where one can exploit. to see how we can tackle it on our own way, despite the fact that we still need maybe vaccine from the European countries or the medicine developed by the Western countries. Uche?
I think what people do, not just going to places to get cured of the coronavirus. Even some people on their own do take some herbal teas.
Yes.
They do take water because they said enough water can clear the thing from your system and all that. Some do take ginger, garlic,
yes, and
any other concoctions they can take to clear the thing from their system.
But when it comes to, look, because traditionally, we treat a lot of medicine with our herbs, leaves, and roots without seeking the consent of the World Health Organization. Because I am looking at it from that perspective. I don't need a World Health Organization to tell me that I have to take a local root mixed with another thing that can cure, which I know cures malaria, which I know cures all this sickness that even some of this Western medicine cannot cure. Do you think Madagascar really need that?
Madagascar really need their own herbal roots because they've used it and they see that it's working for them. That's the more reason they're using it. You as a person, if you take something and it works for you, you know within yourself, this works for me. You don't need World Health Organization to come and tell you, use this before you do it. That's the more reason most of the people that find themselves in the hospital, I was like, how did you let this get to this stage? Because the precautions and whatever they gave us, the health barriers, washing of hands, doing this and all that, you would have just like keep to it and protect yourself first. And not trying to get sick and finding yourself in the hospital where they keep you and fix oxygens on you.
Okay, Uche, finally, do you think the youth in Africa will offer themselves for the vaccine?
Definitely. Like I said earlier, 4 in 5 persons will accept the vaccine if really it is deemed safe and effective.
Okay, 4 in 5 persons in Africa will likely accept the vaccine, and the vaccination campaign in Africa has already started as many countries has received the COVAX vaccine supplies from the COVAX initiative, and we only hope that it will work out in Africa and many will be vaccinated without being forced to do so. And on that note, we have come to the end of this Sunday's episode of the 7th round. Uche Chinwa, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Willie, for having me.
Thank you, viewers, for being there. Let's keep a date together next Sunday to discuss yet another interesting topics that concern us and the continent. From me, have a wonderful Sunday and goodbye.